a better Africa, you must think towards a better Africa. If you need a better Africa, you must work towards a better Africa. I'm here to tell you that no one is going to come to liberate Africa. No one is going to help Africa come out of the darkness where it is. Because remember, we are referred to as a dark continent. Not that all Africans are dark-skinned, but we are referred to as a dark continent because our brains were darkened. Look at the education systems that we are following here in Africa. They were imposed on us by our colonial masters to keep us beggars, to keep us enslaved in our brains so that we cannot challenge them. And that's why today we have doctors who are engineers, but they cannot even produce a safety pin. We have people who have gone to a level of getting master's degrees, but these master's degrees are not helping them. And we have college dropouts from the countries you admire. And these college dropouts, they are doing so many different great things. Why? It's because their education system is not what you take. A dropout from Harvard is far better than a dropout from MOPS. A dropout from Harvard is far better than a dropout from Makerere University. Why is it so? It's because our education system was channeled in the way that we are enslaved within our brains. We cannot think beyond our colonial masters so that we can challenge them. So our thinking is limited in a sense that we can only challenge ourselves within ourselves. That's why it is rare to see a doctor studying in Africa, an engineer who has studied in Africa challenging an engineer from the outside world that we admire. Why? Because our education system was channeled in the way that it is not benefiting us, but it was channeled in the way that it is benefiting the people who imposed it on us. We are not yet liberated. We are still under the armpits of our colonial masters. We are never liberated. We are not yet liberated. No, we are still under the armpits of our colonial masters. That's why we do what they want us to do. They dictate which country does what. They dictate which leader lives. Why? Because Africa is not yet liberated. We are still under the armpits of our colonial masters. So for us to be better, first and foremost, we need to love our colonial masters. And we need to learn from them. There are things we cannot change right now, but there are things we can learn from right now. We need to love our colonial masters, but the most important thing is that we need to learn from them. If we can't learn from them, how are they making their worlds better? If we can learn that, we can as well make our continent a better continent. God has given me a chance of traveling to the outside world that most people admire. And one thing I've seen is that there is unity in the countries Africa admires. There is unity in those countries. And there is love for those countries. But what happens in Africa? When someone is moving up, we pull this person back down. We don't support our fellows. When someone has succeeded at a certain level, what do? We get hammers and we start hammering their heads so that they can go back down. We get nails and we pound them in their heads so that they can go down. And yet Africa will remain stagnant. But if we want a better Africa, we need to unite and we need to embrace those who are moving up. If someone is succeeding, let us hold that person high. Let us hope that person succeed up to where they want to go. When that person reaches where they have succeeded, that person is going to pull another person. The chain is going to continue. And when they are all at that level, there are those who are going to think beyond the others. And still those who are at that level, they need to push those who have thought beyond them to the next level. And in the process, we are all pushing and we are all lifting ourselves to the next levels. And if we can do that, we can have a better Africa. But what happens? When we see someone trying to lift themselves up, we get stones and then we start throwing at them so that they don't raise up, but they go down. And if we continue like that, Africa will remain a dark continent. But we can do something today to make Africa a better continent. Martin Luther King Jr. said that the problem we have is the silence of those who know what to do. You find that so many people know what to do, but they are silent. They are waiting for someone to do what they would have done. But let me tell you, change does not happen all of a sudden. It is small processes happening in different areas. Small brain transformations that can happen in Africa to make it a better place. For Africa to transform to a position where we want to see it, we need all to rise. We need to start thinking. We need to come out of this dark world that we have always been called Africa, the dark continent. I told you Africa is a dark continent, not that we are all dark-skinned. No, we are called a dark continent because we were darkened in our thinking. We were darkened in our brains. And that's why Africa is called a dark continent. But if we can brighten up our brains, if we can brighten up our thinking, we can make Africa a better world. Look, if I give you a big tree to cut it down, stop thinking of calling the entire community so that they can cut down this tree. This is what you need for Africa to grow. If you need to cut down a big tree, sit down 5 reasoning men. Let them think of a tool that can cut down that tree with ease. If you need to do something, you don't need to think of how hard you can do it. But I want you to think of how smart can you do it. Because if you think of how hard you can do it, that means you are going to take a lot of time. The process is going to be broadened. But if you think of how smart you can do it, that means we can do much in a short time, and hence making Africa a better continent. But there is no way we can shine when we are importing everything we need in Africa. Most of these things we are just importing them. Look at the minerals. We have a lot of minerals in Africa. And our minerals have made the countries we admire rich because we have more than enough. So what do we have to do? We need to brighten our thinking. Let us love one another. Let us support one another. And let us think. Let us work with our brains. If Africa needs to grow, we need to work with our brains and less with our hands. So I want you to think of how you can simplify that work so that we can have a quick transformation of Africa. But if you are only thinking of how hard you can do that work, then we shall lag behind more times. And the people you admire are moving forward because they think. The piece of work that will take you a week, they will do it in 2 hours. Why? Because they think. And that's why they are better than how we are. So if we can think on how best and how quick we can do certain things, we can make Africa a better continent. I'm here to challenge us Africans so that we can think a certain way. If we need to see the transformation that you have always wanted to see, if we want to see the transformation that we have always desired to see in Africa, we need to think. We need to think. Look at Dubai, a desert. Okay? How was Dubai able to transform? All other African countries can copy from Dubai. A desert. It only needed a few people who can think to turn a desert into a tourist attraction today, that everyone from all around the world can go to Dubai. What is in Dubai can so happen in Uganda. What is in Dubai can so happen in Kenya. What is in Dubai can so happen in Tanzania. What is in Dubai can so happen in Rwanda. What is in Dubai can so happen in Zambia and the entire Africa. Let's learn to copy the good things and see how we can better them. But let us not be haters of what we have seen best in other countries, because that will still let us down. But if we copy the best and we better that best, we can make Africa a better continent. So I'm here to challenge us. But let us raise up. Let us support each other. Let us work with our heads and less with our hands. Let us be thinkers.